Hi, welcome back. This is Matt Franklin, and today I'm going to show you where that model came from that we were looking at and how you can reproduce it yourself. So we're going to look at, it's just one of the very simple forms of the model. We're going to share a lot of interesting tips in how to create things, talk about flow direction, demonstrate that, and also talk about the color codes and why all these things make it easier for you to model. So let's start. I'm going to not actually build this up from scratch because you don't want to see me type. I'm going to copy and paste segments in text from the old model just a little bit at a time. So first thing I'm going to start with is the chart labels and the variable names, the in-use part. And by the way, the in-use part is just a very nice way this cell selects using the index function from this table of low, mid, and high values. The units part is just basically handy units, not only for you, but for people coming after you who might inherit this model, and they have to work with it. So you may well know what you've got going on with your model, but it always makes sense to just clarify and follow the units and align with the right units from the start. So the index, this is just a variable. You can manually control this. This happens to be a color convention taken from Crystal Ball. And in some of the models that use Crystal Ball, this index is actually manipulated by functions within Crystal Ball to select a low, medium, and high at certain frequencies. It picks the middle most often, 50% of the time, and then 25% of the time it picks the P10. 25% here. Anyway, that's what Crystal Ball does with this. We can just do it manually, and we're setting it up to use with the Tornado tool, NATO, and then to select actually what goes into the in-use. Notice that the in-use have names, like actually the name to the left of it. And I'll show you in a bit how to use that. Notice that the names correspond to the label to the left of them. Let's see what else is going on here. Oh, this is kind of fun. If you've not seen this before, this is using those range names in equations, so you can have more of a plain language, not just the A1, B1 type math that you might normally see in Excel. You've got that, but yeah. So let's start. Let's just take this this header row, the titles, and we'll copy that over. So Control C, and I'm going to go over to just a totally blank sheet here. And we're going to say Shift Insert. There, we got that. Now we're going to take the plain language labels, which you can have this be whatever you want, whatever is excuse me, whatever is makes sense for you or your management. Typically, these are more streamlined, more plain language. The variable names tend to be a little more on the nerdy side, but very precise and something that you're going to want to use when you develop your model and when you troubleshoot it. Let's see, let's copy the in-use, which is just that very simple index function. I'm going to copy that over as we build this up. And again, that in-use, that just lets you select, all right. And I'm kind of feeling lazy right now, so I'm just going to copy the units and the index at the same time. Make this video shorter for my friends with short attention spans. And then we're going to just copy the data here. This is the low, and the low, we're calling it the P10, the P50, and P90. Basically, there's a 10% chance that you believe this number could be lower than that, and there's a 10% chance you believe it could be higher than that, and then there's a 50-50 chance it'll be above or below this number. So let's copy that now. Copy. And by the way, I'm using yellow for anything hardwired, anything that the user would paste in or control. These are all assessments. And further, down here I've got this magenta, this kind of pink color here. It's not that I like this color, I actually don't like it. So everything else up here has been done with an assessment, or in this fake model, let's pretend it was done with an assessment. This lower number down here, and I think I just picked maybe some sort of a plus or minus 10%. I get 20% here. minus 20%, and then a plus 20%. That is, it's just, I didn't have an expert to assess. I'm just going to put the bounds fairly wide and see if that value, that variable, matters at all. So that's why those are the wild color. They need attention. They need attention, and something's wrong there. So let's paste that in. Okay, and let's just move this. I'm gonna make these all a little bit wider. And the include array is kind of a handy thing. That is included in here because you may or may not want to include a particular row. If you've got, sometimes you can set these up so you can have combined rows, like battery cost of a car and battery cost of a truck. There's probably going to be some correlation with the low, mid, high there, because it's the same raw materials oftentimes for a lot of them, not always, but you might have lithium batteries, lithium ion for your passenger car. You may have LPOs for your truck, but in general, a lot of that stuff moves together. But let's copy that include over there, and as long as this is a capital Y, it gets included in the tornado analysis. If it's anything else, a blank or a capital N or something, it will not include it. The one last piece I want to include here, and we're going to make this color code. This is actually very interesting. The color changed when I copied it from one sheet to another. This is the color I like to use for calculations, and for final answers I like to use this bright blue here. So let's say this is going to be equal to unit price minus, and then we're just going to say, minus the raw material cost, unit raw material cost. Oh, and I forgot, notice this equation is coming up this way. There's a very important step I forgot. Let me do that. Let me convert this into ranged names. So very interesting. It's almost magical how this works. So you hit the Alt button, and then I, and then release the keys, and then say N and C, and then it'll say, wow, we're going to create some range names. Okay, cool. It may select more buttons, but what you want is you want the left column to put the names label on the right column. So you're going to select these from the left column, names come from there, and then you're going to say OK. And looks like I may have had some of the stuff there before. So very strange. Okay, now they're labeled. Now they're labeled, and now we can work with them. So now we're going to say equals the profit is going to equal, it's going to equal the price minus raw material cost minus variable manufacturing minus labor minus cost transportation, and we're going to close the parenthesis. Actually, I'm going to put this whole thing in parentheses. Notice here, open paren here, close paren there, and we're going to say multiply that by the volume, monthly volume, and that's all cool. And then at the very end, you're going to subtract any fixed monthly costs. So it's important to use the variables here, separate them. Sometimes people spread allocated costs over everything, and it just winds up muddling things, and you wind up making wrong decisions and leaving money on the table unless you separate your variable costs and your fixed costs. Very important to separate those and just use the relevant costs, important for your decision. Okay, so I'm going to subtract off the fixed costs at the end and enter. There we are, and that's the number I was expecting. I got that before, and yeah, this is let me see what else I want to cover on this. I think that's about it. So yeah, that's where that model came from, and just wanted to share some of the tips that that you can make sure I review and get everything. So where the model come from, the flow direction, top to bottom, how to use the index, how to use the range names, using the range names in the formulas, however you want to say that, and your favorite color codes. This helps you organize it. It makes things more transparent for you, the next person. It gives you more confidence and helps prevent mistakes. Okay, that's all I got for today. Thanks.